Welcome back to the Murpher, everyone, where we dive deep into the world of dressing up for fun, entertainment, and profit. I'll be your captain this evening. Some people call me Luke. With me is the ever-beautiful desert mermaid herself, Amanda.
Hi, everybody.
And tonight with us, we have Fran.
Hi.
So, Fran, we'll get into what you do now, but let's go back to the beginning. Plenty of people want to be a princess. Plenty of people want to be a mermaid. Plenty of people want to have $1 million. But most of those people, most of those people, myself included, will never see that. We'll never see that. But at some point, something happened where you said, no, I do want to be a princess. So what was it that first sparked your interest as a child, as you were growing up, as an adult? What sparked that fascination or interest with princesses?
Well, I'm trying to think of one of the first times that I was referred to as sort of a Disney princess. Because I've always been sort of a cheerful person. I remember in high school, that was probably when it was, when people would say, oh, you're like a Disney princess, you're happy all the time. I'm like, well, I'm not happy all the time, but I try. Yeah. And then I think it was my junior year of high school, they did these little scenes in theater, and it was directed by the senior, and they picked scenes that they would have everyone participate in, and they would cast them, and it was like a test for them as directors. And one of the scenes was Snow White, and so I did Snow White. And I remember singing, and they had my sister, because I have a twin, and they had her get inside. Yes. And they had her get inside of the well, because it was the well scene where she's singing, and it echoes back at her. And so I was Snow White, and she was the voice that echoed back from the well. And it was so funny because I wasn't mic'd as loud as she was, so the echo was louder than I was. It was just really funny. But I had very short hair at the time, and I spray painted it black, and I loved Snow White. She was just the OG princess. Yes. So I think that's the first time that I really got to do something like that. Yeah. And then when I was working food service for like a few years, people kept saying, you look like Merida, you look like Brave. And I had never seen the movie, and I thought, oh, that's great. Okay. And my hair was all pulled back. So I'm like, I don't even know how you're getting that. My hair is just red. I finally watched the movie, and I thought, this is really cute. I would like to do something where I'm performing as this character. I really don't know where that came from. I don't know how I got that idea.
She looks exactly like who Merida would like. That's why people were like, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good.
Like, legit looks just like her. Okay.
Yeah, it was so much fun just thinking about it, but I wasn't ready for it at the time. I just kept thinking, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll get a costume. And I remember getting a costume, actually.
A Merida costume?
But it was like from China. Yes. Okay. And it wasn't bad. Yeah. But it was kind of too big a little bit. And the fabric was some sort of polyester. It was very hot. I took a picture, bunch of pictures, and I put them up on Facebook, made little business cards. Nothing ever happened. I just didn't pursue it past that. And...
So now, before we get to beyond that, I want to go back to something that you said. You spray painted your hair black?
Yeah.
Now, what kind of spray paint did you use for that?
Oh, well, it was hairspray paint.
Oh,
okay. It wasn't like Krylon, it wasn't.
You didn't hop down to Walmart and you're like, that one.
Yes.
Give me that one.
Yeah.
No, have them unlock it with the key. Like, no, I'm not going to graffiti down the walls.
Yeah. Yeah.
I asked because I did talk to somebody who, they were like, I want to dye my hair blonde. And so they just took bleach right to the hair.
Oh my God. There are so many fail videos on YouTube where people will just destroy their hair and they'll break off in pieces.
No, it happened in high school, and he was allowed to wear a hat for the next month because it literally melted the hair.
Was it straight up
off
bleach?
Of his, it was straight bleach.
Oh,
no. Toner or anything.
No, it was like poor bleach. Like that you use to wash things. It must be.
That's what you do as a high school student. You're like,
oh no.
Oh, you bleach your hair to make it blonde. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, it was a very thought out way to go about it, but
apparently, oh my goodness, I'm like flabbergasted right here.
A plus B equals C.
Yeah. Yep. Whoa. Okay. That's funny.
All right. Well,
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was hair grade hairspray from like a Sally beauty
Yeah.
supply or something.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, this isn't gonna come out of your hair for like weeks." And I thought, okay, because they're like, your hair is so coarse, it's gonna stay in there.
Yeah.
I got in the shower that night after the performance and just black
Yeah.
came out. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, right.
Sure,
Okay, it's
yeah.
not coming out.
Yeah.
of my
And there it
hair.
is. Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised.
Yeah.
My hair holds everything.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous though. It's like legit normal, like not normal, curly red hair. And she's beautiful. So it's just, this is Merida, like right here. Yeah. It's so cute.
I'm trying to focus, but we had to put the dogs out, and now the cat's sitting at the dog door trying to get out.
Whatever. Just leave him.
Let me
He's
go
fine.
too.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
poor
not
kitty.
being bothered enough.
Yeah. He's fine.
So okay, so you in high school you're pegged as a princess.
Mm-hmm.
Then you think, well, maybe I could do something about this. so you try it, and I did that same thing. I worked as a magician when I
Oh, no
was
way.
younger. That's actually how I met Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at Bobby McGee's as a waiter, and I would do magic tricks.
Bobby McGee's.
Yeah.
Oh my
Remember when
God,
they dressed
I loved
up?
Bobby McGee's.
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
recently did a little celebration where they brought that all back.
Oh, really?
Characters and stuff. But
Did
that night I
they?
came up. It was a Friday, I think, and it was just packed. And I
Oh,
thought, okay, never mind.
whoa. That would have been so much fun.
Yes, I remember Bobby McGee's.
Yep.
And we still have the ceramic
The mugs.
yes, the mugs. I have the boot and the bathtub and the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yes.
bathtub. I totally
Yes.
remember the
Mhm.
bathtub. Yes. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yep.
Never got the toilet. That was no, I didn't
Yeah.
want that.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, hey, I could do this. I could do this magician thing. I had some
Mhm.
cards made up. They were poorly made, and then they sat in my drawer
Yeah.
forever. I had them for like another 10 years.
Yes.
I
Sitting in
still
my
have
drawer.
my original.
Yeah.
I really need to see these. I don't remember ever
So you
seeing your
did-
cards.
they're long gone now.
Are they? Okay. I'll be like, what? I don't remember this.
He didn't
What?
want to show
He
you.
did what? Yeah.
I don't
okay.
want to say how old I am, but I'm pretty sure I had them made around 1999.
Okay, that's really odd because we got married then.
No, then it must have been before that. It must
Okay.
have been like 98 or 97.
Okay.
It was a long time.
It was a long time.
It was
Okay.
a long time. They
Yeah.
were in a paper bag for a long time, and
Yeah.
eventually they got thrown away.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Anyway,
So there goes that.
there goes that.
Oh wow, you
That
can
dream is in the
envision them.
trash. Yes.
So sad.
Yeah.
Metaphorically and actually.
Yeah, right? Yes, exactly.
So you're working at the DQ.
No, I was working at a Subway first, and then I graduated college, and I got a job at a Paradise, and I was supposed to work full time there, but it ended up where they didn't give me full time, so I was still working at Subway, but then there'd be plenty of weeks where I was working like a lot of hours at both. So I remember waking up, I'm like, I understand why people want to kill themselves. It was so bad. I
Right?
was
Yeah.
drinking like multiple quad shots a day.
Yeah.
Because Paradise Bakery,
Yeah.
well, which is now Panera, but they have, the cappuccino
Yes,
makers
yes.
and all that. And I was like, just making them shots.
Yeah.
So
So like it's just one more to make it through the day.
pretty
Yes,
much
yes.
from like 6 to like
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
night.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
But
So you're working you're making the food, and
Mhm.
something snaps in you,
Mhm.
but instead of going out and hurting someone, you're like, I will be a princess.
Yes.
Well, people used to make fun of me. I because I would be like really
Yeah.
smiley,
Yeah.
and I'd speak really high. Like I go into this high customer service voice. I remember at Subway, people would be like, just taunt me, and they'd speak high back to me. And I thought, okay, I don't have to be nice to you. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be nice to you anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just the nature
Yeah.
of all food service.
I think some
and-
people are like, why are you so happy?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just kind of want to vomit on
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yep. Yeah. Debbie
Yeah,
Downers.
so-
They're Debbie Downers. Yeah.
And
Sorry.
so what was that step that you made where you took the leap and
Well, it was, let's see, I was working that was 2000, like about 14. But then I was trying to do all that with the parties, not really trying, but kind of trying.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then I got a job where I work now. in an office, and it made so much more money. And I was like, oh yes, okay, this is good. So, but I just kind of was living for a while just with making more money and thinking, okay, this is what it's like, and getting a car and all that. Cause I mean, you couldn't do it without a car anyway.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't get my license until I was 24. So, I had to buy my own car to have it happen. So, and I totaled my car like within a month.
Yeah, the first day I got my driver's license, I remember, first day I got it, I drove out and immediately totaled the car with my dad. I felt so bad. That's a little bit of a story. We won't go into that one either. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
But then I was just working in the office, and after a while, I wasn't doing anything with voice. I wasn't doing anything creative, and it was kind of sucking my life out.
Did at that point you miss the people making fun of you? You're like, oh.
I missed being on my feet.
To go back to the days of.
But I don't really miss food service.
I don't blame you. Well, not that there's anything bad with food service, but
it's hard. It's just very hard.
It
People
is.
are very particular about their food, and they automatically assume that you haven't gotten any education or anything. You're where you are because you haven't done anything with your life. So which is fair enough. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are, but that doesn't mean you should treat them like trash.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I got kind of stir crazy a little bit.
Yeah.
I just thought I have nothing to live for, and I wanted to do musicals and stuff, but I didn't feel like it was quite right. And then I looked on Durant, their audition.
Oh, okay.
What's Durant?
Durant is a website and an email sort of service that they send out auditions that are going on across the valley for different shows. And Sarah had put up an ad on that site for Princess Party. She was casting for that, and I thought, okay.
She used the magic word casting.
It.
Yes. Yes.
We are a cast.
Yes. Yes.
So I made an appointment with her. I sent her my little poorly done head job that I took of myself.
Yeah.
And I went and I sang, and she's like, yeah, we want to have you as part of the team. I'm like, okay. And which was weird because I've never worked with kids before, never.
Yeah.
And I didn't want kids of my own. And I was like, why am I doing this? Because I have no experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
How terrifying was the first party?
It really wasn't bad.
When you go in there and you see this mob of children, they're like, who are you as your first?
The first party was Elsa.
They look at you like,
of course, Elsa.
Yeah. From what I remember,
I would be like that. I'm like that when I see Elsa. What?
Any princess?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just put a big dress on and you're a princess.
Yes, you're a princess. Yeah.
It was an Elsa party, and it was really hot because it was in September because it's been 2 years. And it was a nice neighborhood around Scottsdale, and I went in, and it had steps down into the living room, and I think I stayed on those steps the whole time. I didn't go into the house.
Yeah.
But I don't think they wanted me to. I think there were only maybe 5 kids there. It wasn't very many. The birthday girl was really quiet. And I'll never forget, I still have the pictures from the email because the mom sent pictures, and Sarah sent them to me, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute.
Precious.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I just remember singing. I remember that and reading the story. And it really wasn't that bad. I don't remember being really intimidated by it. I don't know. It just felt natural, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Felt right.
Yeah. Oh.
How many? So you've been working there for, you said, 2 years now. How many different characters have you done?
I think I've played all of them except for some of the specialty ones where you kind of have to look more like the character. I've played them all. I've played Elsa. It's a lot of Elsa and Ariel.
And that's that's the thing is quite the range. I mean, you go as Ariel. Now, sometimes you're in the tail. Are you in the dress sometimes?
Well, usually she does have a dress, but the one that's land is it's like a mermaid skirt.
Okay.
So, and then you just wear the shells on top. And then you have to wear the red wig because her hair is red. Like
okay.
Fire engine red.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yeah.
But
the first time I saw you, because we met you beforehand, we kind of met her, Sarah, who owns Storybrick Entertainment. We kind of met her. One of the things we did was we went out and taught some of the girls who were going to play swimming mermaids
Oh, yeah.
how to swim.
Oh,
And
that was so much fun.
I saw you at the swimming school.
Yeah,
I don't know,
something
class?
like
What-
that.
what-
Yeah,
Practice.
practice. Yes, yeah.
And then we ended up seeing you like a week later, or was
yeah,
it?
I think
Yeah,
so.
that one mermaid party.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we
Mhm,
we went out there and did a
It was
mermaid
very
party
fast.
with you guys, and you were wearing a white wig, I think, on that
That's
time.
right. You were like a
Yeah,
mermaid
yeah,
dressed up, but
yeah.
you had the white
Mhm.
wig
it was
though
like
with
purple and very like light lavender and
Yeah.
like green in it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
Myself, I know nothing about nothing, and you had this wig on. I believed that you had painted your hair because,
Oh
You-
my gosh,
'cause-
really?
well, because
It was wavy.
you have
I mean,
you have
really
real
though, but like
you
what?
have real big and full wavy hair.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I
it's
was
like
like-
red, like
and I was like-
ringlets. Yeah.
So in my mind, that hair was never going under a wig. So
That
I was
is
like,
the
oh,
number
she must have
one.
dyed her hair for this party. That's real dedication.
Yeah, is that
That's-
hard for you? to put-
No, that's the number one question that probably people that I meet and talk to, and they're like, "How do you fit all your hair under that?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
I braid it like because I can't do French braids. I'm just not good at it.
Mhm.
So I just section my hair in 4 pieces. There's 2 top and 2 bottom. I
Mhm.
just braid them and then I wrap them around my head and I pin them in and then I put it on.
Oh.
Of course, some wigs are tighter than others,
Mhm.
and my hair does stick out more than other people's. But
Mhm.
that's how I do it. It's really not that bad because it's more volume than thickness.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay,
my braids can get down to like that
Yeah.
size each.
Yeah.
It's not like some of those women who have these braids that are
Yeah.
like 5 inches thick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes, I was pretty impressed by that.
Yes. Well, I was just impressed by the whole outfit she was wearing. It was really beautiful. It's like this leather mermaid, like on land. It was so pretty. Yeah.
So not only like you're doing the parties, you're dressed as a
Mm-hmm.
princess, or you're dressed as Ariel, or you're dressed as whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, you're doing face painting at this stuff. You're
Mm-hmm.
singing at these things. I mean, really, it's like full on theater
Oh my goodness.
going on at some of these
Yes.
parties.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like improv with some set guidelines in it. Like you do this and this and this. But even if you don't end up singing at a party, like it doesn't matter,
Mhm.
because I've had some where it doesn't happen. I don't get to it, or the kids are like, "No, I don't want to hear a song." I'm like,
Oh.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Well,
That's
yeah.
like my favorite part, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll just cry in the corner.
yeah.
Yes.
You,
Thanks.
you go do your
Yeah.
thing.
So what do they normally want to do? Just like hang out with you and ask you questions, or?
Well, I'll usually get the singing in there, but if it's face painting, a lot of times I end up doing that. If it's over a certain amount of kids, that's what I end up doing the whole time. Because if
Yeah.
it's more than 12 kids, each kid takes between 3 and 5 minutes
Yeah.
to
Sure.
do,
Yep.
depending on how big it is.
Yeah.
So if it's an hour and a half party and you have like 12 to 15 kids there, I'm
Mhm.
probably gonna be face painting for most of it because
Yeah.
I'm not as fast as some people are, but I like to make it look nice.
Yeah.
So,
She does an amazing job too with that.
um,
You're like an all-in-one encompass like party person. She does mermaids, princesses, face paint.
It's
Like,
fun. I just like
yeah.
it. But you play games.
Mhm.
You read a story if you have time. You sing a song. Sometimes you do a craft depending on the package.
Mhm.
And then you can face paint. And that's pretty much.
I was telling you like earlier type of thing that when Sarah had asked me to do it because she needed a silicone mermaid, so I went out and when we were talking about it online with each other through Messenger,
Mhm.
and she's like, "Oh, my girls are like theater based and they know theater and they sing and all this," and I was like, "Well, Sarah, you don't want me to sing because you will never have them again as a client because it's really bad. So we're gonna have to come up with something else." But I'm really impressed by you guys being able to sing and do all that stuff. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm kind of impressed that you can keep a structure in your parties because whenever I do a swimming party, the hardest thing, I swear, every time it always just ends up where I'm swimming with the kids because I try to lead a game. And once I get on their level in the pool, it's over. They
Mhm.
just
Well, now,
want
You
to
go, when
Yeah.
you do
play.
the swimming party, you're there by yourself, or do you have a helper?
I've had some. Well, I have a lifeguard, but the lifeguard's kind of just.
He's just there to.
They do guide a lot, but they don't like direct a game or anything. So.
Okay.
See, now when we do
See,
it,
yeah,
she
so-
stays in the pool, and for the activities, and the games, that I'm outside of the pool and I lead the games and I do the activities. But that helps too, because then if we go do necklaces or something, not all the kids want to do that. So she'll stay in the pool with the kids who don't care about a necklace.
Yeah.
And I'll go make necklaces with the kids.
Yeah. But it also gives like a little bit of like time for me to kind of like, okay, let's get back, because it can be so, I've had them like where they just crowd you, and I'm sure you know that too, and it's just like, 10 questions coming at once, and
the last party that we did, she was
always when you're reading a story too.
Oh, right.
Like, I have a doll, an Elsa doll at home.
Oh my gosh.
I have this at home.
Yes.
You're like, quiet, I'm trying to get through the story.
Let me just get through this. Yeah. Or you're trying to be nice and you're like, oh, how sweet. Okay, let's get back to the story.
I went to
Yeah. Yep.
And now at this last party that we went to, there was like 12 girls there, and Amanda got into the pool, and they were spread out, but as soon as she got into the pool, they all just
like
immediately swarmed her.
Gravitational,
and they were in the deep end of the pool, so she was sitting on the step.
There's like, one of those little ledge steps, like a
there
little
were
on the
like
deep
kids
end.
squeezed on both sides, kids hanging onto the side, but there were two girls who couldn't see and weren't close enough, so they were doggy paddling in the deep end.
And I didn't
trying to look at her.
No, they had so many questions and stuff. I didn't realize,
I was like, Amanda, let's go to the
pyramids?
shallow end.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
when
want
he
these
comes
kids
over.
to drown.
Yes, he's like, can we go over to the step? Why don't you go over to the step? And when he told me, I was like, oh, of course. So I went over to the step. That way they all had room to,
You have to have somebody above the water, because kids, there's so many little kids who can't swim. And then they don't have floaties on, or they're still kind of struggling. And it's like, I don't want to kill you during this party.
Yes, please don't hurt yourself.
And don't like pull me down, because I can't float.
They
guys.
constantly ask a man, can I ride on your back?
Yes.
No, you cannot.
No, you cannot. I did. That is and you're not really supposed to say the word no. So I'm like, well, I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want to hurt you, because sometimes I can sink too far, that kind of thing, because that's like I think, is it for you to like the no word is not really something.
I usually don't say no. I try to put it in the most passive-aggressive way possible.
Me too. Yeah.
That's just my nature, is to be passive-aggressive.
Yeah.
So
I will let you ride on my back, but I like breathing.
Yeah.
So we probably won't do that this time.
I just try to like move it on. Let's just play a game. How about I go dive for that?
Yes. Redirection. Redirection is like the most powerful key when doing parties, right? You're like, oh, let's go do this. Okay. The kids are like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah. And saying like, oh, that's going to be so fun. Are you having fun? We're going to do this. It's going to be so much fun. Like saying, I know I say fun a lot in parties, but it's kind of like this positive reinforcement where if you say it enough, kids are just like, they kind of are disappointed at first. And then you say, isn't this fun? And they're like, yeah. They have a confused look and they're like, yeah, actually it is fun.
The
you
power,
tell them enough, they'll get it.
Seriously.
The power of the mermaid suggestion is strong. I've been at parties where the parents are like, quit doing that. And then Amanda will be like, hey guys, let's go do this instead. Let's not do that. And one of the kids will never be like, the mermaid said not to do it, so you better stop.
Yes,
I'm sure it works like that with a princess. They're not gonna talk back to a princess. I mean,
Now, Amanda gets a wide array of questions.
Oh,
some worse than others. Which you do a lot of characters.
Oh boy.
Which character gets the worst questions?
Or
the weirdest questions?
Let's see. Ariel has gotten the most questions, I think, because the costume is the tail, but it's a dress. So I kind of have to rationalize that. And if they see your feet underneath, then you really have to come up with a reason for that. So I kind of say, it sounds awful, but I'm like, I'm a professional liar for a good cause, because it's basically me just coming up with stuff where it's like, this is real, this is right, you guys?
Yeah.
In the sweetest way possible. I remember one of the most traumatic things that happened was an aerial event. And it was early on. I was at a ballet studio or something, and there were old kids and there were young kids. And the older kids, like every once in a while you get one where it's like, I'm going to prove that this girl is not actually who she says
Oh,
she is.
yes, you sure do.
Oh, and there's
wow.
mostly at mermaid parties and like with Ariel. And so the girls were just like grilling me, and they asked, at the time it was early on, and I thought, and they asked me how many sisters I had and what their names were. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I should know this. I said like 7.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
off. There were 6 sisters. But and after that party, and they just would not stop, and they kept like telling the other girls that I wasn't real. And I was like, well, if you don't want to believe in the magic, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's like all I have at the end of the day. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you can either believe or you
Yes,
don't. So
yes.
after that party, I was like, I'm going to learn all the sisters' names. I'm going to
Yeah.
know how many there are. I'm going to know
Yeah.
who my mother is and my father is.
Yeah,
and all this
yeah,
stuff. I mean,
yeah.
with the father, but
Yeah. Yeah.
That's I guess the plus side of doing a Man in the Desert Mermaid, because they just say, do you know Ariel?
Mhm.
And
Oh,
she'd be
and-
like, oh, I know her. She lives in the ocean.
No,
You know,
no, now
she's
I say
in Disneyland.
Now I say she's in Disneyland.
yes.
Yeah, because I'd be
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, she's not. I'm like, if you look, you can look up pictures. She is in Disneyland right now.
Mhm. Yes.
She does like parades and she sings, and they're like, oh, okay.
I guess I can't argue with that.
Yeah, like,
If
right.
you were a
yeah.
princess, where would you be?
You know
oh, I
what?
guess I'd probably be in Disneyland.
So another big one that they're like, are you real? Are you real? And I'd be like, I sure am. I'm right here in front of you, aren't I?
Touch me.
Yes. And they're like, no, but I mean, are you real? And I'm like, no, yeah, I'm right here. Yeah. Can't you feel me? Feel my tail. And it's like, they're really trying to rationalize.
Amanda beats them down with logic.
What am I?
Yes.
Pretty much, I guess. What am I really? I guess she is.
They're like crying. Say I'm real.
Yeah,
You're real.
right,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
It only happened like that a few times, Luke. So,
Only like a couple times.
yeah, only
I've
a couple
left and then
times. So
tears.
I thought
It's
we're not
okay.
supposed to talk about that on here.
The parents are under contract. They can't say anything.
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh.
It's slander. It's libel.
What's
Giving away her secrets. Okay.
Or I'll say like,
Yeah.
of course I am. Can you imagine how difficult it would be to pretend that you were somebody you weren't all the time?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I'd much rather prefer to be me.
Yeah, that's a good. Ooh, that's a good one too, for sure. Yeah. Yep.
now? What's the one thing that happened at a party that you just wish you could forget ever happened? Or was
There's a
just
lot of
so
girls that
bad.
have like really awful stories about, like dads that are kind of weird or inappropriate. I've had some dads that were kind of weird,
Mm-hmm.
but I think once I get into that mode, I just keep that out of my head so completely that
Mhm.
maybe stuff goes completely over my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't really experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one party that I remember that sticks out in my head, which I wish never had happened. I think it was at the end of a long day. I had done like 2 other parties.
Yeah.
And it was out way out west.
Yeah.
It was a non-princess party. It was like a mascot party. And the kids, I was face painting at it. So I was the assistant because a mascot can't talk or
Mhm,
anything. So I had
mhm.
to help. And the kids, I was face painting them, and it was really dark in there, and the music was really loud, and so that was already difficult. I was starting to get a headache because I was tilting my head in a weird way to face paint,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids were asking for really weird things that I couldn't do. Like they wanted full face of like Pokemons.
Oh.
Which I haven't had any practice with that, and it's hard to translate that face onto a person's
Sure.
face. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't good. They
Yeah.
weren't good. I
Yeah.
would give it to them. They
Yeah.
were bad.
Yeah.
But I had it. I was dehydrated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just wasn't ending. We were supposed to be out of there, I think, already.
Yeah.
And the kids went to the bathroom, washed it off, and came back and asked for more face paint. And I thought,
Oh,
I
no.
want to die right now. And when we
Oh.
left, I was so sick after it.
Yeah.
I had to go home. And it
Yeah.
was far away, so I had to drive home too, like really far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the worst. All the other ones have had weird things happen. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just kind of am like, I'm
And now
tired.
We're
Yeah.
tired
That
after
was-
when we do
Yeah.
2 parties in a
Yeah.
day. We're exhausted. How many times do you do multiple parties in a day?
A lot of times it's not more than 2.
Oh, that's
In the
good.
past, before I came on, I was like, I'm kind of curious how many parties I've done over the course of 2 years. I've thought that for a long time, so I went back through all my emails and I counted them, and it was like over 160 parties in 2 years. And there were, I remember
like,
looking
you are
at
legit
one
a
of
professional. Yes,
I
yeah.
remember looking at one of them, and it was like it was in the weekend, so I don't know how many it was per day, but it was 6 parties in that weekend. I thought,
Wow.
oh my god.
Wow.
There were some weekends where, especially this year, I was very busy at the beginning of this year, and I thought,
So
I'm gonna
traumatic you
have
don't
a
remember
mental
doing all of them?
breakdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember them. If I
Yeah.
look at them, like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you look at them, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that one, and you hadn't remembered it before,
Yep.
but you look through it and you're like, oh, I remember that one. I remember that one. I remember
Yeah.
that kid. I remember
Yeah.
that kid. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny how it all comes back to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably the 6 was a lot. I didn't remember that, but
Yeah. Because it was a blur, I'm sure, at that
It's
point.
just a lot of
You are-
commute.
Yeah. And you must have been exhausted because performing takes a ton out of you. Like having to, I mean, by the time I'm done with one party, I'm done. Like,
Well,
I'm,
you're
like,
swimming too on top of it, but
Yeah, but even
it's more
still,
physically,
yeah, because you are like you're a different person almost. Like you are, or like you're the princess. I'm a mermaid. Like that is what you have to stick with through the whole thing. So half the time
Well,
you're
it's
like
got to be hard when you do like that many parties in a weekend. You're
different princesses.
you're like around the 4th party and you forget what princess you are. You're like, let's go to the pool. And they're like, Cinderella's going to swim. And you're like, oh, I mean, I meant to say living room.
Yes,
Let's go to the living
let's
room.
You're like, this is the best party ever. Cinderella swimming.
you just like throw the dress on.
Yeah.
just
Yep.
Showstoppers.
Yes. Yeah. Get a blue tail on. You're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had my share of changing, like in my car or outside of my car.
Oh my goodness.
I
Yeah.
remember trying to get into costume. I made a mistake because I was way out east. I can't remember where it was, and I had to go to Florence Lights. And I remember I got in the wig. I hadn't even gotten in the wig yet, but it was an event, and it was like when I got there, it was just a line of cars waiting to get into this open field, and I thought, oh my god, I don't have anything on. And in my head, I was thinking, there's going to be some place for me to change, and that was completely irrational because it was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to get into else. Like I started braiding my hair as I'm sitting in my car, and I'm like, I'm sure the people in front of me are like, what is this
girl
person doing?
Yeah.
behind
Yeah.
us?
Yeah.
I put on the wig in the car, and I'm like, I can't get into this costume because it's all like corseted, so you have to lace it up. Oh my god! And I was waiting
wow.
for the girl who played Anna, and I was like, "You need to help me get into this." And she
Yes.
was having an asthma attack.
Oh
Like,
my
'cause it was in this
gosh.
field. Oh my god! It was so
Oh, see,
We were
people,
late.
this is what you see behind the magic. Yes, totally different thing. Little bit of appreciation here for this.
and then you come out and you're like, "Hi,
Yeah.
how's it going,
Yep.
kids?"
And then
I'm
you
so
are-
excited.
Yep, and you are on. Yep. Wow.
But it's all, I mean, even in everyday life, it's all up here.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
all
for sure.
mental. It's all
Mhm.
about,
Yeah.
how you look at it. So
Oh yeah.
I guess I'd rather be doing something that I loved and it be difficult than,
Yeah.
what I do on a normal basis. And it's like, I mean, I can talk myself into being okay, and and I can, but
Yeah.
it's like, I'd rather be doing something I like. So this is worth
Yeah,
it. It's
so
worth all the
yeah.
adventure.
Yes. Yeah.
We
And
had-
that's what it is. Yeah.
The last person we had on, Odette,
Mhm.
she told us she'd went to this event sometime, and they were like, why don't you get a real job?
Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you
Yeah.
just go back
That's
to
one
whatever
of
you were
those.
doing?
Yeah.
If you think it's not a hustle.
Exactly, right? Anybody who is in this type of a service like this, it's way more complicated and way more intense than people
Yeah.
see. Like they're like, "Oh, you're a mermaid. How glamorous." And like, "Yeah, well, you should see me actually try to get into this tale. It's ridiculous."
There was one
Logistics
time
is
where
hard.
she had to
Mhm.
get into her tail in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Or on the side of somebody's house in the dirt. So
Yeah.
you put down a blanket and
Yeah.
try to put the tail on.
Yeah.
And
And then try to look like, and I'm outside and I'm sweating like crazy, like sweating. So I remember the one party, not only was it, I'm sweating like crazy, it's like 110 degrees out, and they had these misters blowing. Well, when it's 110 degrees out and you have misters, it don't do nothing
It's
to
just
you.
more sweat.
Yeah, it's more sweat. Remember that?
And that party, it was so humid that day.
And it was humid.
I mean, on a normal day, the misters might help but you walk in front of the mister and just
And I'm literally like face wet. And we're supposed to be taking pictures like in this little tent before I even go in the water. So my hair is like all set. And here's all this like water. Like, oh, the adventures, right?
I know. Recently I did one and I was like just sweating so much. It was downtown and it ended up where I wasn't even covered. We had a tent.
Oh.
They were face painting and I somehow ended up on the other side of the tent where the sun was coming in and I didn't wear sunblock or anything. Oh no. And we moved a few times throughout the day, but somehow the sun would always come and hit me again.
Of course.
But I'm like, my head is so hot because I have so much hair and I'm a head sweater.
Yeah.
So I'm just like covered. My face is covered.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, kids, come get your face painted.
Yeah. You're like looking at you.
That's when you have to invest in good makeup. That's,
okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Stuff that's waterproof and
that's going to adhere to their skin when they're sweating like crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, did you when you started doing this, did you immediately go into all the characters? Did you just start with one, or was it just, hey, this week we need you this week we need you this, and it was just...
I've seen you be a bunch of different characters.
Yeah. It started out, I think it was mostly Elsa in the beginning, Elsa and assisting for parties.
Because when did the first Frozen come out?
I don't know. Gosh,
I feel like I should know that.
I don't know.
I know we all...
I should know that.
I mean, like...
I've played her more than anybody, I'm
sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting when the first one...
2013.
Oh,
so
wow, for still for 5 years.
So did you start doing this? So you said 2 years, so 2016, so about 3 years after. So it's not peak Elsa, but she is
strong.
Man, she is the queen forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know why. I think it's, in my personal opinion, I think it's Disney's level of marketing of the movie.
Well,
that it became
it's newer too.
Yeah.
Like the younger kids, they don't know Cinderella as much or Snow White, but they know Elsa because Elsa's recent.
Because I just recently went to an event to attest to that as Cinderella. And I was
I saw
Rapunzel.
your picture. Yeah,
and
so pretty.
And the kids, the boys were like, "You're not Elsa."
Oh,
I'm like, "You're right. I'm not. I'm Cinderella."
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like the blonde and the blue is this generation is Elsa. It's not Cinderella.
Right.
They're like, you got the wrong Elsa dress on.
Yeah. What is this one? I've never seen this.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Can't say no on that one.
Yeah. And then isn't it another one coming out at some point? So it's even probably going to be insurgents of this again. Like, you're going to be Elsa forever.
I know. Well, she's really fun to play.
Oh, I bet.
Because kids just love her.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't play Elsa as Elsa. Like, none of the characters I play really as the characters.
Okay.
I just play them as very friendly and kind with, like, the background story, the information, the facts and stuff behind it. But, I mean, if I were to play Elsa the way Elsa is, she'd be sitting in the corner not wanting to talk to anybody.
That's true.
So,
yeah,
that
is true.
Party.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yes.
The plus side to Elsa, she's the only princess that has magical powers, isn't she?
So you'd be Rapunzel. Rapunzel has the
hair
thing.
Yeah, with the hair thing. But
you'd be like, look, if you don't be quiet.
Oh, here we go.
I will turn you into a snowman.
This is what Luke would do. Yeah.
It is what I would do.
It is exactly.
See, that's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Kids are like, can you make snow everywhere? I'm like, well, and you come up with, over the course of 2 years, you come up with many different things to say.
Yep.
I used to say, I don't want to get snow everywhere because then it'll melt on the carpet and it'll ruin the floor.
Yeah.
I've gotten down to the point where I'm like, well, the air is just too dry. And it's water in the air that makes snow. So it's not humid enough.
Yeah. That's probably the most, these kids are smart with that kind of stuff. And that's probably going to be the one that's being like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I suppose. Yes.
Amanda tells people like, oh, I have to drink my potion to get my legs. And the girl's like, well, can we see you do it? Well, no, it only works when nobody is watching. Well, I know. I think the last party, the little girl's like, well, can I see you do it? And I said, well, we'll probably do it over there where nobody's at. Well, will you yell so that when you're going to do it so I can run over and watch? And I was like, oh, it doesn't really work when somebody's watching.
Yeah.
Go back to the pool.
Legit, that's the
too
stuff he says
cute.
too. Let's go back to the pool now. Yeah.
Really, after a certain point, you're like, I've got nothing else. Let's just go do this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of redirection.
It really is.
Amanda has like little trinkets that she wears in her hair. So
Oh
when,
my
when
gosh,
when it
it's the
gets to the
best.
point where it's like, please stop, she'll be like, have you seen my hair? Look at this.
They love it because it's like those mermaid dreads I have, you know?
Those
and
are so wicked.
yeah. And so I wear, that's one of the reasons I actually wear those a lot. Well, first of all, because you can wear them in the water and they don't come out. Like they don't, like it's a lot easier than a wig for me because I would be way too concerned this wig's not going to come out, stay
it
on.
would come off,
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, because I swim a lot. So so these mermaid dreads are fantastic because the kids, I have special like little trinkets. I have like dog. I have like a little trinket dog. I have a dress. I have like a little sugar skull, a cactus, all this stuff. Like mermaids, they have such a blast trying to find these trinkets. Then it'll be like, do you guys know? I'm like, see if you can find a sugar skull. And they're like grabbing through my hair, trying to. It's the best redirection tool ever.
Yeah. You just have
Yeah.
to have a lot of tricks in your bag.
Absolutely.
ready for
Yeah.
it.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That's cute.
You guys need one of those then too. Like, here you go. Look
I
at this.
know,
Can you guys
right?
find me like an Where's Waldo type thing? Can you find me in this little pamphlet? I don't know. Now I'm just like going off and yeah. I start the brain trail. Here we go. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's different every time.
Yep.
So what was your 2 years you've been doing this? What did you say? 160 parties?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
What is there one moment that stands out to you that you're like, yeah, this is why I do it?
Oh, there's a lot of moments like that. Oh gosh. I'm trying to think of like one in particular. There's just so many where the kids, especially when the kids really love you and they're not, because sometimes you run into kids that are like, they're just into their friends. The older they get, they're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they're interested in you, but they're not.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
cutoff
the
for
little
sure.
things.
There is. Yeah. Yeah.
They're just not, they're a little more independent from you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, the party that I did last weekend, it kind of, these revive my spirit a little bit. They're
Yeah.
not princess party. It's a pirate party. And this
Ooh.
is the second one I did, and it's with somebody else. It's with this guy.
Were you dressed up as a pirate?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanna see.
And they're so fun. I
Yeah.
don't know why they are. I think it's because there's no set character or anything.
Yeah.
We just like shred our voices, and I speak in a Scottish accent, and we're just like big and loud, and it's so much fun. I never would have thought that I would have had so much fun at those parties. And it was funny because this one was we were waiting outside, and then we had to go into the neighbor's house because like the kids hadn't all gotten there. So they're like, come into the neighbor's house. So then we went inside, and I walked into that house, and I thought, oh my God, I know this house. I had been there 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like the second or third training that I did was at that house with Rapunzel.
Oh, wow.
And it was for the woman's daughter, but
Yeah.
this time it was for her son that was autistic.
Oh.
And he was so sweet, and she's like, he had a good day, because I wasn't really sure, but she's like, he was just so much fun. It was great. You guys did great. And I was like, such a weird full circle to come back after 2 years and do this. And
Yeah.
Did anybody recognize you?
No.
Oh my
no.
goodness. Well, because she's dressed as Rapunzel this time, and now she's like this pirate, and I'm sure it was like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other specific ones. I remember having that feeling of walking away and thinking, that was so great.
Yes.
I think the other one that I did with a girl, I think she was autistic or something. That was the one other one that I did where they were very, not quite there, but she was so sweet. And I walked away, and the mom they made like these little jewel boxes, and they put the tip inside of it, and she had decorated it and painted it.
Oh,
And she's like, thank you so much for being here. And I've like stayed longer. I stayed like 30 minutes or an hour longer. I was like, I can't just leave this girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got in my car and I started crying, because I was like, that is just, I swear, the people who have children who have disabilities or some sort of challenge, they're the sweetest ones.
Oh,
Yes.
They probably appreciate it.
They appreciate
really
the most.
do.
Yeah. And that you spend time with their child and kind of like show them some love and attention and not like held back.
Yeah. The ones
You know,
where
you're
feel
showing them
like-
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah. For sure.
There's been so many. I couldn't even pinpoint one in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
every weekend. I mean, there's
Yeah.
something to find in each one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
If you have the right
Absolutely.
attitude for it.
yeah.
Yes.
You could hate it or you could love it. It just depends on.
Well, after 160
Putting myself through this every weekend,
parties,
I'm like, I must be either a masochist or I really love it, or both.
Yes,
I mean, a mixture of the two.
right? Yeah, yeah. That's a lot of parties. I'm thinking, wow,
Yeah.
how awesome.
So you've been doing this for 2 years. What does the future look like for you? Where is Fran in 5 years? What's your 5-year plan, Fran?
Gosh. Well, it's hard to say because I feel like it's been such a roller coaster as it is, and this year I feel like it's been such a shift. I kept saying last year, I said 2018 is going to be a really good year. I'm like, I know it. A lot of things are going to happen in 2018, and a lot of things have happened, and they've been really traumatic.
Oh,
But I think nothing good happens, or no like significant change happens without a significant amount of difficulty.
Yeah.
absolutely,
So-
absolutely.
I feel like just a different person.
Mhm.
So it's kind of hard to say what I want to do in 5 years. I would like to still be doing parties in some propensity. I'd like to be a better face painter. Just keep honing that. I don't know. I'd kind of like to do some stuff on my own. I'd really like to volunteer more as because I want to do Merida and I have the actual costume myself. So I'd like to go out. It's been a dream to go out and do like Phoenix Children's Hospital and things like
Yeah,
that.
me
Even though I
too.
know it's going to break my heart. I'm like, I'm going to walk away and just want to cry.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so me and you need to go together
Yeah,
and
for
do this because
sure.
I have. You can ask Luke. I've been wanting to do that. I've tried to email them. I'm really hoping at some point maybe they will. Maybe if we both are like, let's
and I
do
think I
it.
know the woman who made my costume. She's like, I know some of the people who are higher up at the Phoenix Children. So I was like, maybe I
Well,
should
even if
hit
you
her
go,
up.
then you could put me as a name at some point.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I would love to do that. Like, I would just love it. I mean, just to see the kids. And as Merida, you're bringing. I mean, I'm always big on like you're bringing some magic to these kids.
Yeah, it's
you
so
know?
much more than just walking into a part. That's why people are like, oh, you should work for Disney. You should work for Disney. I'm like, I don't want to work for that because it's very, they have a set way of how they want to do things, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's why they've become what they've become.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing wrong with that business model.
Mhm.
But I enjoy going into things and being able to interpret it the way that I want to interpret it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I feel like there's nothing offensive about saying, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that should be the focus on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that that's always, it's more than just coming in and like, oh, I'm in a pretty dress. I'm a princess.
Yeah.
Let's have some
Yeah.
fun. Let's
Yes.
make some crafts. Let's play a
Yes.
game. It's
Yeah.
so much more than that.
Absolutely.
So much more.
Or to put it another way, for a good performer,
Yeah.
it can be so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah,
somebody
'cause
can
you
just
got
go
those-
in and be
yeah.
like, whatever. Here's
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
craft. Here's your song. See you later.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time getting out of parties on time because I feel like everything is such a different experience. Like some of them I get out like right on time or even before time because the parents like, goodbye, you're good. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
But everything,
They're ready to close it off
Yeah,
too.
they're
Trust
like,
me at that
we
point.
have a
Yeah.
schedule. Want
Yes.
to keep.
Yes.
But I'm like a whirlwind, so I come in and I'm like, what are we gonna do first? Let's do
Yeah.
this, or it doesn't matter how long this takes. I just kind of want to
Mhm.
go with the flow and see because every kid is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they want to focus more on this or more on this. So it's like, if I do the craft for most of the hour, then that's fine.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, because
Yeah.
that's what they want to do.
Oh, and that's how we treat our parties. I mean, they'll be like, well, what are we going to do? And I say, well, we have this, this, and this. We may or may not get to all of it. We kind of leave it up to the kids. The kids want to do this, then we do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do a lot of the birthday. Who is the birthday girl? What does she want to do?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's always
wanna
like,
make it
what do you wanna
special.
do first?
Yeah.
For
Yep.
sure. I mean, there's some things like if there is a craft or there's face painting and something that's like tangible or an extra cost
Oh,
to
yeah.
it, I will
Oh, yeah,
always
you'd have
put
to,
a priority on that.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
anything else, it's like, well, if
Yeah.
I don't sing the song as much as I'd like to,
Yes.
if you don't want to have me sing the song, it's
Yeah.
fine. If I really want to sing it, I'll stay extra
Yeah.
5 minutes for my own,
Yeah, yeah.
satisfaction.
Yes, yeah, that's so
um,
cute.
So in 5 years, I want to keep making a difference in whoever's life I'm around. I want to have grown even more to continue, like, to not have those days. Like, everybody has bad days, but I want to have more good days.
Mhm.
I want to not be working where I'm working now. I want to be more self-employed than I was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And am.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you like the focus of the, I mean, because you have like a corporate event where it's
Mhm.
more, not as much interaction, more just
Mhm.
there. There's the birthday parties or the parties where you're interacting with the kids a lot. And then there's maybe like performances. Obviously, you can act because you're acting every weekend. You can sing. You can do all this stuff. Do you want to go more towards the performance side? Do you like the interaction with the kids? Would you like corporate type stuff? I mean, what's your flavor?
I feel like for princess parties, I prefer just being like one-on-one with the kids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
For
too.
performance, because for performance, it's always been for me more on a classical or opera route, because that's what I studied for a long time, and that's where I feel at home at vocally.
Mhm.
I love singing Disney stuff. Of course, it's just fun.
Mhm.
Elsa's song is very difficult.
Is it?
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh,
I am
boy.
convinced that the person who wrote the music for Frozen does not know how to write for voice, because it's hard.
Really?
There are different types of composers, and I don't think
Yeah.
not that they're bad songs.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
just
It's like
they
a
are
super, like,
very
yeah.
hard. I've heard
Yeah.
professional singers, and it's like they sound like they're struggling,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd like to have more classical performance on my own. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if that's ever going to yield anything for monetarily wise, but I'd like to travel. I love linguistics and language, and I studied Italian language and literature in college,
Oh,
and some
wow.
French. That was the major, so
Have you
I
ever
want to do
used
Nice.
something.
Have you ever used your languages in your parties?
I did one a couple
Ooh.
times. I've had like French people who speak French. One party that was it was an adult event, but they had their little side thing for the
Yeah.
kids, and it was like one of the only times I ever played Wonder Woman, and
Yeah, yeah.
and there was a Spider-Man, and a couple of the kids only spoke French, and my French is it's not
Yeah.
the greatest. My Italian is much better than my French, but we kind of spoke to them a little bit in
Yeah.
French, so it was kind of cool. I run into a couple where I'm like, oh, I know they're speaking French. I think I did run into one where they were speaking Italian, but I didn't really get to talk to them
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
But it's always, I'm like, oh, you're speaking those languages.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a chance for that.
Yeah, we happened to do one party where the kids were all from the same school and they were learning Mandarin.
Oh.
And so my Mandarin isn't great.
Yeah, he speaks it
But-
really well,
Yeah,
though.
But
Yeah.
so
Cool.
we did
Yeah.
the game, and as we were counting the points, I had them all count with me, and we counted in Mandarin. And
The parents were so like impressed. It was so cute. Like they're like,
Awesome.
he even spoke Mandarin with the kids. Yeah, it was cute. Yeah.
it's kind of neat when you can stick those extra
Yeah.
side skills
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I didn't learn it for nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Me and those kids, we counted to 25.
Well, because
Yeah.
I think it was Nelson Mandela, I'm going to mess up the quote, but he said something like, speak to a man in a language he knows, like
He
when he
understands.
understands, speak to a man in a language that's his,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
speak to his heart.
Yeah.
I think language is such an important thing,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
I just love that part about it. So it's cool when
Yeah.
you get those little opportunities
Yeah.
to kind of throw that in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
So, if people want to find you online, where can they find you online?
I have my personal Instagram, but I have another Instagram that's going to be more for like cosplay or for the volunteering or whatever, as Merida.
Mhm.
And it's called Destiny Diversions.
Destiny Diversions?
Because I thought Destiny was all
The dog
about.
likes it.
Yes.
I don't know if you can hear it
You
through the
can't hear
microphones,
him,
but
but yeah.
as soon as she said it, the dogs were like,
So
yes, yes, yes,
excited.
yes, 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 yes.
I thought a long time about that name. I was like, I want something with Destiny, and I love alliteration, so I thought it has to be a double D.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought
Yeah.
Destiny Diversions because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be fun, but it's
Yeah.
everyone has a destiny.
Yeah, they do. That's
So-
awesome. Wow.
So
Well-
at Destiny
Yeah.
Diversions for Instagram. I'm working on doing a website, but I keep putting it off. So, but once I post all that, then it'll be on that Instagram. So anything that gets updated, you'll see it on there.
Well, we always have the links too
Yeah.
to ours,
yeah.
so we'll be able to link it.
And if
Right
you
up
want
to
to
you.
find Fran, if you want to book her for a party, then you call Storybook Entertainment and
Mhm.
you're like,
Mhm.
I want Fran.
Yes,
Yes.
you can ask.
Yes. Yeah,
I've had it
definitely.
a couple times where
Yeah.
I see people again.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
You're like,
Awesome.
"Yeah, I was requested.
Yeah.
yeah. It feels
Yeah.
good. It does. It's
Looks
oh,
like
they-
he's strutting
they
right
want
now.
me.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
man.
That's right. I'm going back a second time.
Yeah.
Ew.
They want me. Yeah. Yep. That's awesome.
Well, Fran, it was great having you here. We
It was
hope
a pleasure.
success for your future.
Same.
Another 180 parties to go in
Yes.
the next 2 years.
I could see you doing big things. As long as you stay on this path that you're going, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
It's
keep
slow.
going. Yeah. Just
Mhm.
keep going. I was later in life. We're just
Tortoise
going to
and
go
the
that.
hare.
Yeah. I was later in life when I decided to do this, and just, you got to keep at it.
Sometimes
doing
you
it.
have to learn stuff before you can get to the next
yeah.
step. It's
Yeah.
all it all works together.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's never too late for anything.
No. Nope. That's right. Definitely. Cool.
We're glad to have you. We're pushing
Absolutely.
an hour now, so I figured we
Oh,
should probably
wow.
wrap it up.
Okay,
Yeah,
that went
sorry.
really
I don't
fast.
want to take up your whole day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
all
That's
good.
actually one of the longest so far. It was just a pleasure to talk with you.
So
Yeah, so
much
much information.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, and so
Oh, we
many
didn't even talk about
stories.
face painting either.
Yeah, right? We got to get into that too
Mhm.
yet. Yeah. Cool.
Well, maybe we'll have to have you back. For
Yes.
Maybe we'll have to
Sure.
request you back
Yes.
for
Yes.
a second
Ooh.
part.
Yes, we're going to request her ourselves. Absolutely.
And so, Amanda, if people want to find out about us, where can they find out about us online?
Okay, so if y'all are interested in booking us, we have a Facebook page, Amanda the Desert Mermaid. We have a Desert Mermaid store where we have merchandise, and that is under the desertmermaidstore.com. More information on the podcast. Should I redo that?
No.
Okay.
I'll edit that out.
Okay, good.
Not really.
Fantastic. Okay, more information about the podcast is under merfair.com. The Instagram. We have an Instagram, Amanda the Desert Mermaid. And, in March of 2019, we actually are going to do a Merfair here. Right, Luke?
Our first ever kickoff festival here in Phoenix, March 2019.
Yep.
Mermaids and cosplay.
Yep. We
So-
we got ourselves a venue and an aquatic center. So it's going to be crazy cool.
Keep an
Yeah.
eye on the website for
Yeah.
details.
Yeah.
Also the Merfair
Yeah.
Instagram, the Merfair
Mhm.
Facebook. So
Yeah. They'd be a
we're
lot
all
of fun.
over. You can't
You
go online
really
without tripping
can't.
over us somewhere.
Yeah, well, I like that idea, actually. And people are going to be like, yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard you guys, so.
You gotta
Our president tweets about us.
Yeah,
We're
right?
out
Yeah,
there.
there we
Donald
go.
Trump knows
Hello?
about us.
Yes.
It's, Congress.
We're-
Just go back, like a little ways. in his
Yeah,
tweets.
yeah, you'll
There are a
totally.
few. It's
yeah,
okay, you can find it.
You'll see us everywhere. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thanks for everybody for listening.
Thank
and
you.
until next week, goodbye.
Bye.